Hello guys, in this tutorial we will discuss about clock. So what is clock, why is it used, and obviously its triggering methods. We use clock for triggering only. Let us discuss about it now. So what is the use of clock? So if you see its circuit, I'll directly jump to this diagram. So if you see this circuit, this is a SR flip-flop, and I'm going to discuss about flip-flops and latches, difference between them in the next tutorial. So just bear with me. So this is S and R, and this is clock, and this symbol also has some specific meaning. We'll talk about it afterwards. So this is SNR, and whenever we use a clock to connect it, so it can be either 0 or 1. So if you see this diagram of about its waveform, so it is a square waveform because it can be either 0 or it can be either 1. So this is nothing but a square waveform, so it can be 0 or 1, and accordingly we can change the outputs. So it will be a matter of truth table actually. So for 0 and 1, the truth tables are going to be different because with SNR obviously. So with inputs, we'll play with the inputs basically by using a clock. We are going to trigger them so that we get the outputs that we want, right? So if you see this cycle or this wave is repeating itself between these 2 points, that means this is nothing but the time period of this graph, which can be called as capital T. And you all know frequency is nothing but 1 upon T, that is frequency is 1 upon T in hertz. You all know that, so there's no need to discuss about it. And one more thing, there is one thing known as rising edge and falling edge. So if you see from here, it is going from low to high. Low means 0, high means 1. So it is going from low to high, that means it is rising edge. And when it goes from high to low, it means that it is going down, it means it is a falling edge. So this is a rising edge, this is a falling edge. Again, rising, falling, and so on. So this was the explanation of waveform of a clock. So actually, if you see the circuit now, we'll talk about it in the next tutorial. So I think I should not talk about it. There are some types of triggering. So if you want to change the output according to your input or the clock, actually there are two types of triggering, which are level and edge. So for active low and active high. So active low means whenever the input is 0, we can trigger it. So whenever input is not input, actually clock I should say. So whenever clock is 0, it is going to work. So whenever clock is 0, that is these many cases, then it will work. But whenever clock is high, then it won't work. That is, for these cases it will not work at all. And one more thing, so if you see this for active low, and if you see for active high, that means this thing, right? Active high means this thing. So whenever it is active high, that means whenever it is 1, it will work. That is, it will work for these cases now. For the orange color, whatever yellow color it will work. But when it is 0, then it will not work. So basically they are opposite of each other. So active high means whenever it is 1, it is going to work, right? And when it is 0, it is not going to work. And it is opposite for active low. So for active low, when it is 0, it is going to work, and when it is 1, it is not going to work. This was low, level triggering. Level means active high or active low, two levels, right? The other method is edge triggering. So by edge triggering, what I mean, as I told you, when it will go from low to high, it is rising edge. So you can call it as positive edge. So this thing actually, so positive edge. So when it will go from low to high, that means this thing. Again, it is falling away, so I will not mention it right now. Again, this thing, and again this thing. It is going from low to high. That means we can trigger it in this case. But when I'll change the color. So when it goes from high to low, that means when it goes to a negative edge, right? Negative edge. So it is a falling edge. So it will get triggered in this case now. That is high to low. It will get triggered in this case, and as well as over here, and as well as over here. But it will not get triggered over here. So whenever we see the edges, for active, for negative edge, that is falling edge, this will not work, and again this is rising, so this will not work. Basically these two are opposites of each other. What you need to know is, I'll do one thing, I'll draw the diagram. So if you see, this is a clock waveform. So I'm writing with a mouse, so just bear with my drawing. Actually it is looking pretty good, so whatever. Now it is looking bad. So if you see, these are the levels, right? So according to these levels, if we can trigger them, then they are known as level triggering. And whenever we connect, use the edges, that is active high, this is active high, and this is active low. Not active high and active low, actually rising edge and falling edge. So whenever it is rising edge and falling edge, we can control or trigger the circuit by using edge triggering. And this is active high and this is active low, and we can control them by using level and edge. So I think I talked about it a lot. We'll see about them in the next tutorial. That's all from my side. Thank you.